Oh, I must. Okay, welcome, everybody. All right, Tom, we have a quorum. Attendance, please.
Ms. Bose.
Here.
Mr. Clark. Here. Mr. Caparata. Here. Ms. Evans.
Here.
Ms. Groger.
Here.
Ms. Kelly.
Here.
Ms. Martinez. Ms. Pasculi. Mr. Van Hise.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you so much, Tom. Welcome, everybody, to our board meeting. The Open Public Meeting Act authorizes the Board of Ed to meet in executive session under certain circumstances, and the Open Public Meeting Act requires the board to adopt a resolution at a public meeting to go into private session. It is necessary to meet in executive session to discuss certain items involving matters which, if disclosed publicly, would constitute an unwarranted invasion of individual privacy, and specifically this evening we will be discussing HIB. Formal action will not be taken, and exec session is expected to last approximately 30 minutes. Can I have a motion to move into exec?
So moved.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so moved. We will be back at 7 o'clock.
So the art department is proud to spotlight Lawrence High School and Lawrence Intermediate School this evening. On display in the back of the room, we have works from Miss Danielle Davis's students at Lawrence High School, and Miss Clark is here with her orchestra students from LIS. Woohoo! All right, LIS friends, take it away.
Make the walk across.
Our next piece is Mythos by Sean O'Loughlin.
Yeah.
Margot and Owen on the cello. We have Miha on the viola. Harrison and Lashika on the violin.
What's the difference between the viola and the violin? And obviously the cello, the bass I can see, but what's?
We're about like, there's a lower string, right? So the C string. Violins have the higher strings, the E, A, D, D, and G. But they read the alto clef, which is a very rare clef. You don't really see very often in all of music. So there's bass clef. And where the violins are doing treble clef, and then the viola is the alto clef, which is kind of looks like a little bit of a three, backwards three. So I actually was a viola player when I was in fourth grade, a very long time ago. So that was my very first instrument, and then obviously I dabbled in all of them. So, yeah. And then viola plays the inner melodies, so we don't really hear them as often. So you're kind of like a second violin viola, but it's cool, right? Violas, we need more viola players in the world, right? We love all of you. There's just not enough of us, you know, really. We're going to do a piece that we do every winter concert. It's Pachelbel's Canon. I'm sure a lot of you will recognize it. So, and we're going to have Max and the cellos are actually going to start us off. So.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
That was awesome.
Thank you so much for coming.
And great job in the January concerts. They were all beautiful.
It's a little delayed, but we got it. We working on new music already, right, guys? Yeah, we got a lot of new pieces. So it's going to be fun to play in the spring. So. I thank you again. We appreciate all of you.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Ella.
coming.
One
Okay, welcome everybody to our board meeting. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. As required under the law, this meeting has been provided via email and/or fax to the Times, Lawrence Ledger, the Trentonian, the Public Library, and has been filed with the municipal clerk. This notice was provided prior to the 48 hours required by the Open Public Meeting Act. The board reserves the right to limit public discussion of personnel items and other matters as defined in the law. Do the flag salute. Okay. Great. Okay, student representative, peer leaders, the floor is yours.
Hello there. My name is Christian Galanoff. I'm a senior, and I'm a peer leader, of course. And today, firstly, I'll be talking about the boys swim team. They are currently competing in their sectional finals in the local tournament. This is the first time they've achieved this in 9 years.
Yay, congratulations to the boys.
But of course, this came from all their hard work that they did. They beat many records this year, including some that date back since the early 2000s, which is a long-standing record. So very proud of them. Similarly, I will be talking about the Interact Club, which is a club that if you're not familiar with, they provide volunteer opportunity services for people in the school, and they provide back service to the community. Currently, they're working pretty closely with the senior center down in Lawrenceville, like down the road. They usually only host a prom night for them, which is happening in late May. But this year, they are also giving the opportunity to have a Valentine's Day themed event that's happening next week.
Yay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Great idea.
Hi, my name is Shania, and I'm a junior. I'm a part of the track team and DECA. So tomorrow, track is on its way to sectionals, where athletes have the opportunity to compete at a high level and qualify for states. Our meet is at the Toms River Bubble. Similarly, DECA is also preparing for their state conference. Students who qualified will compete for placement at ICDC, which is an international conference that will take place in late April in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi everyone, my name is Diana Victoriano and I'm a junior and part of the Student Council and Hope Squad. Student Council has been brainstorming ideas to make the high school experience memorable. This is why we initiated Class Wars. Class Wars is designed to bring students together as one while competing and having fun, motivating students to earn points by participating in school activities like Spirit Week. One of our recent and most exciting activities we have done is Wall of Hearts, where we cut out hearts and wrote their names on them, placing them in the hallways. Each student felt seen and loved since everyone was excited for their adventure of finding their hearts, as well as trying to find other classmates and friend names. We plan on brainstorming more activities like these to show our LHS pride. I'm also part of Hope Squad, which not only serves as a club, but also serves as an emotional support. This is also an example of what I meant with the Wall of Hearts, which each class has their own separate colors and they have their names on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's having a good night. To finish off, us peer leaders have been assigned to do a freshman seminar it's like every 2 months. So in these freshman seminars, we usually do games, but we also help out the freshmen. Our last seminar was this Tuesday. We did scheduling, so we helped our upcoming sophomores do their schedules, and then we helped them guide through what classes is best for them and where they fit the most. We also explained to them like the requirements for you to graduate. We told them like, hey, like you're missing this, you'll be great in this. We also helped them explore what classes would be best for them, futuring them. So if they want to go into business, we have a lot of business classes and many opportunities in like DECA. So that was our last meeting for a freshman seminar. And yeah, have a good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, peer leaders. You can stay or you can go, whatever works for you tonight. Thank you. Have a great evening.
No running.
Recognition and acknowledgements. This evening, we're going to just take a few moments to acknowledge and send our condolences to the family of Max Riley, who was our superintendent approximately 25 years ago. And Pepper and Tom are just going to say a few words on behalf of the board and our community, and send out our deepest compassion to his family. Are you going to go first?
However you wish to do it.
Okay. I want to acknowledge the passing of Dr. Max Riley, former superintendent. I remember him as a physically imposing and somewhat unkempt in appearance, a presence that could be intimidating. As his obituary noted, he was a polarizing figure. He held ideas that at the time struck many of us as radical, and I regret that I didn't yet have the frame of reference to fully appreciate just how forward-thinking they were. As an elementary school parent, my kids directly benefited from Dr. Riley's vision. He reduced first-grade class sizes to 15 students and invested in upgrading playgrounds across the district, changes that made real tangible differences in the daily lives of children. More importantly, he partnered with Fred Vereen to pursue new ways of closing the achievement gap for our socioeconomically challenged students. Together with Fred Vereen and the Eggerts Crossing community, they launched a teacher-supported after-school program that grew into Every Child Valued, work that later earned national recognition for strengthening school-family connections and created generational change, a partnership that continues to this day. Now, I didn't work for Max, but I was a parent while he was serving as superintendent. But retired operations manager Lana Mueller asked me to read, "Gloom overtook my day when I learned of Max's passing. I worked closely with Max for 5 years and saw a side of him that most people probably did not. He had high expectations and was challenging, yet he was patient, kind, intentional, ever mindful of the end goal. Max focused his leadership on helping others learn, no matter the age. He often focused on underserved children, pushing for possibilities initially not seen by many. Max was a giant of a man. Picture this, kindergartners sitting on the floor eagerly awaiting his arrival to their classroom. You should see their faces as he entered the room. I thought of Max often after he left the district, albeit with controversy. I recalled a referendum that he and Tom Eldridge led, came across reports initiatives that Max drafted, and gratefully thought of ways in which he impacted my life. I appreciate and am pleased the Board of Education is recognizing Max."
Thank you, Pepper. Tom?
I think you're going to see themes through this. One of the last things that Max imparted, excuse me, was the notion of reverence. And he very rarely ever spoke about himself. He would typically talk about reverence for all those who came before him and what we can do with that. Reverence being the notion of respect, but in awe. And so I just so happened today to walk through the foyer of the administration building, and for no reason whatsoever, I saw a large bound book, and I went and I picked it up. And it was a 2003 letter on the cover from Max to the Slackwood kids on their 100th anniversary, I believe it was. And oddly enough, reverence is what I thought of, and then there it is, there. As he said, here are some pictures from 1905 until today, 2005 it was, rather, 2005. And he said, I want you children to understand that your 100-year anniversary contains the legacy, essentially, of teachers that you've never met. And he was planting that seed in them, and how proud they should be to be in a place like Slackwood. So even in that, he was talking about the idea of reverence. He was, in his obituary, he was called a lightning rod. It was noted by the American Association of School Administrators and for suburban superintendents. And I think Pepper echoed some of that tonight in what she said, maybe pulling from that. And he was intentionally a lightning rod. That was by design. So one of the things he felt was a sense of urgency. And the urgency he felt was that a child only has one chance, one time. We only have now to serve them. I have absolutely no time. And I remember him meeting me in Camden County, New Jersey. We were at an Italian restaurant after he just interviewed all the people that he needed to talk to before he made me an offer. And he said, we're going to have the chance, if you take it, to walk in the halls of greatness, meaning the people before him. And he said, we've got to make a decision as to whether or not we're going to leave footprints. And he said, we're going to do so much in the next few years, but I can guarantee you that I won't make it. He goes, because people aren't going to stand for the change that I'm going to bring with the sense of urgency that I'll bring. And he said, you may not make it, but you might. And he said, this will be a chance of your lifetime. And he says, what do you think? Do you want to do it? So just to give you some ideas of some of the things he would say. He wasn't without humor. He was pretty funny. So I remember Read Across America and the quote that a Ben Franklin student said to him as he looked up at Max, who was probably about 6'4", 6'5", maybe 325. And the student looked up at him and said, so you're a super in kindergartner. And so we would laugh about those things. We talked about the fun things. But I can remember some things. If you wanted to get a flavor for him in the sense of urgency, I remember some words, and I shared some with Robin today on my screen of things he would say. And it was challenging all the time. He would look and say, the trouble that we have is not coming up with good ideas, but choosing which ones we don't have time to do. And so that's no different today than it was then, right? But what he was focusing on was the sense of urgency. What he was saying is, we need to cause things to happen and do less. Do only what you can do. And I can remember him saying, this one is, we're not paid to do what we like to do, but only what we can do. You must delegate the rest and use all of your talent to move the ball ahead. We have very little time with these kids who are in the class right now. Make it count. And so I could go on and on and on. And with that, though, the result of that was the other corollary. You're going to have to accept small failures if you're going to have huge strides, because you can't stop everything from happening and be everywhere at one time. So I was laughing about these types of things, and it sounds as if this would be a top-down person, but he actually believed in decentralization. Put the right people in the right places, the principals, try to clear the road for them, and let them go and do what they need to do and let them thrive. And so the idea of those things that I said were echoed in what Pepper said, I believe. But I wanted to bring you some of his words that still echo now. And I remember him, and you said he was kind. I can remember walking into his office one time during budget season, and I missed something. I forget what it was. It was probably several $50,000 of something. I forgot the budget. And I walked in and I went, I screwed up. And he says, I've been waiting for the day you'd come to me and tell me that. And he said, what did you do? And I said, I forgot to budget this. And he looks at me and he goes, puts his glasses down, he goes, damn it! He goes, that was dumb. And then he immediately looked at me and he goes, okay, what do we do? And I thought, wow, that was classic Max. You know, okay, what do we do? First thing is, I'm all in with you. Here we go again. So some of the things I just wanted to say in that time, in that day and age, and I'll stop soon, but I want to give you an idea of what was happening back in that day. He said, he also poked fun at me. And Robin hears me echo these things, and Jill will hear it all the time. And he said, so I can sum you up like this. He goes, how do I know what I think till I hear what I say? And I went, yeah, I need to hear it out loud before I know if I'm okay with it. And that's apparently a statement from someone who's quoted that in infamy about writing. How do I know what I think till I see what I write? So he was teasing me about that. One of the things that I wanted you to hear, of some silly things, but some fun things. So visionary things were things that I learned on Thursday mornings at 7 a.m. We would all have to show up at the diner and do tea and dreams. So I'm not sure if this was a play on clouds in my coffee, But tea and dreams were you'd have to go, and the only thing you could do was talk about, you were never allowed to talk about what you were currently doing. It had to be new things that you could bring to the table to serve the kids for urgency. But you had to be very careful what you said, because if it was a good idea, he'd tell you to do it. So you would wind up having to roll with this. So, but there were many things in there, and I'm sure they'll be talked about by other people. But I wanted to give you some words to give you an idea. And I think to some degree, he anticipated you sitting here today, because he knew that he would be here just a short time, and he had confidence that he would pass it off to someone who would carry the torch. And he had faith that that would be done. And in 25 years from now, I think we act in the same manner with the same hopes. And so that's what people were thinking 25 years ago, amongst so many other things, and thank you for your time.
On my last day with Max, as I was saying goodbye, I said, is there anything you would like to take with you from Lawrence to your next job in Randolph? And he said, yes, Tom Eldridge.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, thank you so much, Tom and Pepper and Talana, for all those kind words to remind us of so many of the great people that come through this district and continue to contribute to the success of our students, our community, and our teachers. I think some of the things I didn't know, Max, I was not even in Lawrenceville in 2000, but I see and hear things that resonate with what we're doing now, and I hope we continue to do this in the future. So that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay.
You will.
If they want, they can say something right now since we're doing a tribute. If you'd like, Chris, you can come on up. Sure.
Those are remarkable words, and I have to say that one of the first things I remember Max doing when he came to Lawrence was to hire Tom Eldridge, who was very young. And, and I remember working on the first budget for the district, and Tom was so sick he shouldn't have been anywhere near work, and he worked with fevers and sleepless nights and got that budget ready for the board in his first year. And so kudos to Tom, and kudos to Max for seeing this dynamo in this young man who is yet untested. I have to comment on one other board member. Max had a challenge pretty early on where a group of moms who wanted, they were called the preschool moms. And they were, I thought, run by this woman that I had met named Pepper Evans. And they wanted to, from what I heard, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I heard was they wanted to coordinate the preschool curriculums with the kindergarten curriculum so the kids would be ready when they came in. And, you know, most people go, oh, I got so much more to do than Max. No. Max took that on right away. He was so excited about it. He said, this is exactly what we need. And I have to reflect back and say, look, where are we with preschools now? Mm-hmm. Here we are. Yep. So another example of that sense of vision. And Max was a visionary.
I was a visionary.
You were a visionary.
Yes, you are.
And Max was a visionary for understanding how important you were. But he was a visionary, and he was mission-driven. And when you say he's a lightning rod, there's a lot about being mission-driven and being a lightning rod, because when you're mission-driven, you don't have patience for holding up. And Tom spoke to his sense of urgency, and that was true about Max. His guiding principle and his guiding mission was extraordinary learning for all. And the operative word in that mission, you might think was extraordinary learning, and it was important, but the important word was all. And so Max believed that children facing the greatest challenges deserve the strongest advocates. And he worked tirelessly to ensure that these children were seen, supported, and valued. His leadership was not abstract, it was personal, as Tom has said. It was rooted in the conviction that equity in education is not optional, but essential. One of the most powerful expressions of that belief was his partnership with Fred Vereen, who's here tonight, who I always speak before Fred because no one ever wants to speak after Fred. I learned that lesson the hard way. Fred was the founder of Eggers Crossing Village, and together they set out to support the education of some of our town's most socioeconomically disadvantaged children. What began as a simple after-school homework program full of volunteers, mostly teachers and psychologists and social workers and staff members from the secretaries from the school district, grew in 2010 into its own 501c3, Every Child Valued, and you're well aware of that. Like Max's original mission, the mission of Every Child Valued is bold and compassionate. It's to motivate the young residents of Lawrence Township, that's the important operative word, to reach their highest potential as educated and fulfilled adults, to strengthen families, to combat racial, cultural, and socioeconomic isolation, and to build a community in keeping with Max's belief that every child valued serves all children while ensuring that our most vulnerable children have access to support right in their own neighborhood. That vision didn't fade, it flourished. Today, Every Child Valued continues its work under an award-winning executive director, Kaya King Green, alongside 3 dedicated Lawrence Township school teachers, 14 talented and caring ECV staff members, committed volunteer board of directors composed of business and community leaders, and countless generous volunteers. The programs were a homework program, are now a breakfast program that has increased student attendance by 40%, a robust after-school support program supported by Lawrence Township teachers and dedicated ECV staff, an evening science, technology, engineering, art, and math program serving students in grades 6 through 10, a summer enrichment program that reduces learning loss while providing health and fitness, cultural opportunities to children who might otherwise go without, a thriving scholarship outreach initiative, thank you, Ms. Martinez, with 13 students applying this year for national and state affordable housing scholarships. And for the first time, we got a direct invitation from the Women's Club of Lawrenceville for our students to apply for that scholarship. We're thrilled. We're deeply grateful to the Lawrence Township Public Schools, the Lawrence High School Administration, and the Guidance Department and PRD Management for partnering with us to help these students pursue their post-secondary dreams. Oh, one more thing. We now have in the works a cultural travel club, which we've already raised money to support, expanding our students' horizons beyond what many people thought possible. But this legacy does not belong to Max alone or Fred alone. It's been sustained and strengthened over the past 25 years by superintendents and boards of education who followed him, and most especially by this current Board of Education, this superintendent and her administration, the faculty and staff of Lawrence Township Public Schools, the dedicated staff of Every Child Valued, and hundreds of volunteers who give so generously of their time and hearts. Your partnership, your compassion, your daily commitment to our youngest learners. You ensure that Max's belief that every child deserves extraordinary learning continues to live and breathe in the classrooms across the district. You are keeping his vision alive in the most meaningful way possible. And as we gather in this building to look toward future construction, let us remember that we build upon foundations that Max helped lay. It's under his tenure that Lawrence High School was last modernized and rebuilt. We are quite literally surrounded by the results of his leadership. The walls around us, the opportunities within them, and the continued growth of Lawrence Township and its schools stand as a living evidence to his vision. As we move forward with new construction and new chapters, may we remember that we are the beneficiaries of his work and of his life. Thank you, Max, for your courage, your clarity of purpose, your unwavering belief in our children. And thank you to this Board of Education for an administration, faculty, staff, and community for continuing to grow this extraordinary legacy. Thanks so much.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
Fred, your turn. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It really gives me great pleasure to come here and talk about Max. I'm sorry that he has left us at, I can say, at such a young age. I met Max after he was employed as superintendent of Lawrence School District. At that time, I was manager of Eggers Crossing Village. We had started an after-school program for a number of reasons. Our children from the village were falling behind in the schoolwork, not catching up as they moved from grade to grade, and eventually being placed in special education classes. Management with the board and Lawrence Nonprofit Housing, Inc., sponsors of Eggers Crossing Village, started an after-school program. After 2 years with 2 parents running the program, there was not much progress. Then along came Max. Peggy Huchet, who was the president of our board at the time, she and I had a meeting with Max about our situation. During this time, the test scores for the district were low, and our students were contributing to them. Soon after our meeting with Max, we had a meeting at the village where Max brought his administrative staff. I have to keep reading because I can't, when I lose a place, I lose my place. We had a meeting at the village with Max when he brought his whole administrative staff and told them, he told us the process that he wanted us to implement. And that process was that teachers were going to come and do the tutoring in our program. And he said, how we're going to do this? He said, we're going to give you the money. He said, not cash money, but you're going to submit vouchers. And I think that process is still going on now. He said, you're going to submit vouchers. You're going to keep record of the teachers coming in. And he said, because actually, I don't know whether I can say this now, but I'm going to say it. He said, actually, you'll be paying the teachers less than what we pay. Because if we employ the teachers to come down, you're going to have to, we'll have to pay union wages. And you won't have to pay union wages. But the other thing that happened, we got the teachers who really wanted to come. We got the teachers who felt a need to do something in our community because we still had a stigma attached to us at the village because of what Eggers Crossing used to be when I was a kid. You know, it was not the people were good, but the environment was bad. We had dirt roads, pig pens, outhouses, and we were separated from the rest of the town by railroad tracks. So that stigma was still carried over into Eggers Crossing Village. And so we got the teachers who really wanted to come. And it wasn't long before that program just took off. Much good was derived from that program. The after-school program, after school year, none of our children, after 1 year, our children were not in special education. Classes 7 out of 8 third grade graders enrolled into the after-school program passed state assessment tests and on skills and knowledge. And the EC Parent-Teacher Conference attendance in 2 years went from 30% to 86%. In 2005, we received the National Civic Star Award from Sexo School Services for our dynamic school community partnership with Lawrence Township Schools, and Max even took some of us to California to receive that award. You hear that, Madam Superintendent? That, you know, and that was uncalled, I mean, not uncalled for, but that was something new in our life. Max took a lot of heat for what he did. He took funds from our related social programs to fund what he was doing in ECV. I particularly remember one board meeting where a parent made the remark, "You don't need to help them," and I put emphasis on them, meaning us, the African American community. They have been like this for years. And this was said at a regular board meeting. I later told Max, by working with us, with the black community, you are putting a target on your back. He said, "Fred, it's the right thing to do." It was not long after that he told me, "I can't stay here. These folks are not ready for me." Somewhere, Max Rowley and Peggy Huchet are smiling down on us and telling us to keep up the good work that they started. Now, I'd like to leave folks with something. How many of you have got a copy of this little green book, The History of Eggers Crossing? You all have it? You don't have it?
No, sir. Paul's new to the board and Mackenzie are new, so.
Okay. And these folks down to the village once in a while. Come down and join us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
And we're also doing the Lawrence nonprofit is doing a strategic plan. We're working with the new mayor, and we're progressing, and we're hoping to get something started with the new center real soon.
Thank you so much. Okay. Adoption of the minutes. Motion to adopt the executive session and regular session minutes from the 1/21/26 meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Tom with a motion and a second.
Sorry, I lost my place.
That's okay.
Mr. Caparata.
Yes.
Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Ms. Evans.
Yes.
Ms. Groger.
Abstain?
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Ms. Martinez.
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi.
Yes.
Mr. Van Hise.
Yes.
Ms. Bose.
Yes. Thank you. Superintendent's report.
First off, thank you, Mr. Vereen and Dr. Woolley, for your comments this evening. Definitely a lot to reflect on the last couple of weeks since his passing, and a lot of stories have come forward, which is nice to hear. So I'd like to begin with thanking our Lawrence High School students and our LIS string musicians for the wonderful demonstrations this evening. They were greeted with the artwork in the back here, and you got to hear our lovely musicians playing for us this evening. So February is Black History Month, and across the district, our schools have been engaged in meaningful learning and reflection. I wanted to especially highlight our upcoming district-wide celebration on February 28th at Lawrence High School. That is where staff and students will come together to honor Black history, culture, and contributions. There's lots of performances and displays and shared experiences. It really is a fun time for the full community. We look forward to celebrating together. I also want to remind families and community members of our community conversation coming up on February 18th. We invite the entire school community to participate and learn more about district-wide reconfiguration. The contractors will be there. Our architects will be there. You can learn about our construction projects and our phasing. And for some of our younger families, our K-6 families, we want you to come earlier and enjoy the K-6 curriculum fair. So our Office of Instruction has been very busy. Our supervisory team will be there, and a lot of our teachers highlighting the good work in our curriculum department. Food and childcare, I should note, will also be provided should you want to go to both or one or the other. And most importantly, we want to hear your voices as we plan for the district's future. Finally, last week was School Counselor Appreciation Week. We extend our sincere thanks to all of our school counselors across the district. We could not do this without you. We understand that academic, social, and emotional learning go hand in hand, and you make a lasting difference in our schools every day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And just in regards to the curriculum fair and the community conversations, that's both here in the high school, correct?
Correct. So the curriculum fair will be in the Commons. That's our high school cafeteria, and it's sort of a walk-through gallery, get to learn, maybe have some hands-on and discussions. Mr. Desai is leading that initiative as our assistant superintendent, and our director is here this evening. They're planning that with the supervisory team, and that's about 45 minutes to an hour, and then you're going to come down with some light fare. We figured we would cajole you with some food. So you grab some food and a bite to eat while your kids are taken care of and also fed. And we'll be in here for the community conversation. We will have our our construction manager will be here, our architect. We're going to have some slideshows and an open dialogue about where we're at with phase 1 of the construction. So exciting stuff. It's all happening on February 18th. So if you get one night out of the house, this is the night to be here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I know I'll be there. Board Secretary report. Tom.
The first item on the agenda under this report is the audit, also known as the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. It's a lot of words to say an audit. So that audit was sent to you, or should I say that report was sent to you. And a brief synopsis of that is that our auditors came to the district and they did various tests using statistical sampling to verify the accuracy of the records that you approve every month when you approve the board secretary's reports and the treasurer's reports. And our other reports, anything from our application for state school aid to various other areas. And all of that is listed. Tonight, there's also a handout here that we have. It's called the audit synopsis. I don't find it very helpful. It's a state prescribed form. If you really want to get a good flavor for the audit, look at the audit itself. There's a statistical section in the back that reads a lot like USA Today and gives you 10 years history. But nevertheless, the audit is there along with the manager's report from Robin, myself, and the auditor's actual written report. We will post it online, and you'll find online, as a matter of transparency, that our audits go all the way back, I believe, to 2002 online, so you can look at anything you'd like. There were no audit findings, which means that there were no material defects in what we did and our processes. And our processes go beyond just me, by the way. They also audit some of what happens in the Office of Student Services. They audit some of what happens in the audit of instructional services. And so they look at various things having to do with student counts and things of that nature, not just the books. So it really does go across our departments. So at this point, with the permission of the board chair, my recommendation based on what we know according to our audit procedures are that we have to open it up, at least for this time, to the public if they have any questions.
Absolutely.
So
at this time, we'll open it up. If there's any questions from the public, feel free to come up to the podium. One thing I would just want to point out, and I want to say, is if you look at the first page, and Tom did say it, but it bears repeating, is that there are no audit recommendations. And that just speaks to the wonderful job that Tom does and the district does in following protocols and procedures that we have in place. And I'm not surprised, but I would like the public to just note that is pretty spectacular. So, thank you.
And of course, you extended that to everyone, and they really do. So Gerald's not here, and Jill is here, or Ed Black, who you saw today.
Yep.
So Michelle got to come in and watch us proof the position control roster against the budget. She saw the team sitting there, and it really is a team.
Yes.
And so we're blessed with fantastic people. So thank you for your
Great.
comment.
Thank you. Okay.
So it'll be noted that there weren't any questions at this point. If you do have questions, when you do look at it, just forward them, and a question asked by one will answer to all. So some things that we want to bring to your attention. We talk about the referendum a lot. Can you bring up the Gantt chart, Joey? So the Gantt chart is our chart to say where we are on any given day. So we're right on track. What this essentially does is the task activities are down the left. And we said that we would report on this from time to time. We are right on time with the auditorium. Things are going very, very well. We are on budget. We have some really, and this is just an idea where we are. I'll talk about the qualitative things while this is there. We have some change orders that we may have, but they're all change orders that we asked for. So it's kind of minor things. There is nothing material standing in our way that we know of, and so we're on time in terms of our progress, and we're on budget. We, on this evening's agenda, you'll see some awards. Pepper will talk to them later that will benefit us going into the main body of work that we're planning for now. When I say the main body of work, I mean the brick and mortar, go from the ground, dig footings, and start to see a building move towards the sky. So we expect to see some of that happening, at least some signs and fencing by the end of the summer. So we're on track for that also. So all of that is really good stuff. And so thank you for all your support, and thank you for visiting the site. I watched the eyes of the construction workers as Michelle, Pepper, Robin, Jen, Jill, myself, Mindy, along with their construction company superintendent, walked the site. And I could tell that they looked happy when you saw their eyes because someone was taking an interest in their work. And I got the sense that boards of education don't always do that. So it made me feel good to walk in there with our team, knowing that this group of individuals is working hard to make us happy. And we do have a good contractor that's doing that. And I don't want you, I watch them. I want you to know that I saw that in their eyes. And that's meaningful. So thank you for that.
Two things. We did look cute, I'm not going to lie, so we brought a smile to their face, but I also want to encourage the rest of the board, if you want to, maybe next month, a different group of people would go in. I do think it's important for us to see it. I think it's important for the contractors to see our presence there, and it is a huge project, and it's mind-blowing to see the work go in person. The pictures are great. Thank you, Jen, for all the pictures, but it does feel different when you go in there. And you get to wear a cool hat and a really great vest, climb a ladder.
Steel girder.
But it is, something that's not going to happen again. So I would like to encourage board members, to continue. And when it's over, of course, we'll all get to see it, but
The one
during the
time
process.
when Kevin and I, when they were redoing the pool, we actually were walking on, remember that, Tom? The bottom of the pool
I have
with
a
no
picture of
water
you at
in
the
it.
bottom of the pool.
A whole
I
different
remember
feel,
that.
so.
Yeah.
You look really small at the bottom of the pool. I have it. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Great, thank you.
So there's some other things that the Finance Committee asked that I bring to your attention, and that was what's happening at Slackwood School and LIS. No, I will not steal your thunder. So we did not, many people have a misconception that because we're doing referendum work at the middle school, we're not doing things at other schools. I can tell you that I spend more time talking about Slackwood than I do the middle school right now, at this point in time, getting ready for all the things that are happening at Slackwood, and then the intermediate school also. In fact, when we have job meetings with the architect, half of the job meeting is for the intermediate school bathroom renovation that we're doing and installation this summer, as well as Slackwood. So at Slackwood, the board is fulfilling a promise it looked at years ago, and we have a great architect who can make it happen, where we're going to put a ramp behind Slackwood so that if you were to park in the parking lot, where parents use the back door as the main entrance, because it's closer to the parking lot, and there's no parking lot out front, we're going to put a ramp that runs the length up the side of that building so that grandparents, parents with mobility concerns, or just students with mobility concerns can come in right at the ground level at the main office using the real main entrance, which is at the back of the school. We'll also replace the steps at the front of Slackwood. And some other things, if you haven't been to Slackwood and you go into the foyer, you're going to see we spend a great deal of time there through the beginning of the school year with recarpeting the foyer. We've done painting in the foyer. We have, over the break or the summer, we will put the little rubber covering over all the stairs like you'll see at Lawrence Elementary School. Theirs is green, Slackwood's will probably be blue. You know that we just did the gym floor at Slackwood last summer. It's an absolutely beautiful floor that's there. We are going to, next month, it'll be on the agenda where I'll bring before you a motion for about $130,000 to replace most of the ceilings in Slackwood. Our staff right now, over the evenings, is retrofitting Slackwood with LED lights. The reason they're doing that, they're doing it on overtime. They're putting in all the LED lights, which is what these are, with no tubes in them. And they're efficient. They're great light. And what they're doing is they're dropping them down here, but they're making it so that when we take the ceiling out, which is similar to this at LES, those lights can stay. The contractors can come in, put the new ceilings in, and our guys just drop the new light in. So we're doing that right now. You don't actually have to wait for the summer. And then I think we're also carpeting or redoing 8 floors in Slackwood. So Slackwood's going to look a little different when it opens up next school year. It'll look even more beautiful than it looks now. So there's an ADA concern that we have there, the capital project, but there's also things that we're doing every day. At the intermediate school, there has been, you had a community conversation, multiple community conversations, but one in the middle of the day where we sat in the round with parents just like this. And whether it was Dr. Fisher, I believe she led that along with Mindy that day, and asked the parents what they'd like to see at the middle school as changes. The only thing we didn't deliver on at that point was a door next to where the existing teacher's lounge is, which we couldn't actually go into the courtyard because of a step-off problem. But the last piece was the lavatories. So we are out to bid right now for 4 lavatories, plus a shower. We talked about the visionary ideas of Max. Well, that's not lost on anyone. We're still visionary people. So what we're trying to do is build capacity. We're satisfying the ADA concerns that we have, but we're also building capacity to say if students want to come back to the intermediate school, we have the right type of toilet facilities for them. We have a shower area similar to what we'll have at the middle school. And we'll also put laundry on the other side where the locker rooms are. Vanessa, Robin was pushing hard for this very thing. Vanessa's engaged in it. The whole team is still looking into the future for what happens for our serving of kids and resources. That's happening. So you don't hear about those things very often. That will happen this summer. Slackwood's ramps happen this summer, if you wanted to know. And you will have to award all those projects or contemplate awarding them. Hopefully it'll come in under budget. And we'll have them for you in the next couple months. So I hope that that is what you asked to talk about, I believe.
Great, thank you.
So, yep. You're not forgotten if you're not in the referendum.
Great, thank you so much, Tom. Board President report. On behalf of the Lawrence Township Board of Education, I'm pleased to announce an exciting and important opportunity for our community. As we shared in our last board meeting, we are launching a strategic planning initiative and inviting our entire Lawrence community to be a part of it. You will hear me talking about at our next 2 board meetings, as our first session will be on April 15th. So I just want everybody to mark their calendars to make sure they come on April 15th. This process will be facilitated by the New Jersey School Boards Association and will bring together neighbors, families, staff members, students, community leaders, and any interested residents to help create a shared vision for the future of the Lawrence Township Public Schools. Strategic planning is more than setting goals. It's about listening, it's about reflecting on our district's strengths, identifying challenges we face, and discussing how we can work together to address those challenges. Most importantly, it's about ensuring that our plans reflect the hopes and the aspirations of our entire community. Everyone's voice matters in this process. We will hold 3 meetings, 1 a month for 3 months, and participants are welcome to attend any or all of the sessions. The more perspectives we have present at the table, the stronger and more representative our shared vision will be. We are encouraging our staff, our parents, guardians, students, and community members to join us and contribute their ideas as we plan for the future success of our students. I will repeat this until we do this. So I'm going to say the same thing because it is so critically important that we have as many people part of our strategic planning as possible and hearing from all facets of our community, both in the school and within Lawrence Township. So let your friends know, let your friends know, because we really do want students to come and help plan for our future in Lawrence Township. And that's really the only thing that I have to say tonight. Next, we'll do the liaison committee reports. First, we have our student board member report. Redeema Pandy, the floor is finally yours.
Okay, so good evening, all. February has been especially energizing at Lawrence High School in particular. So as we have moved into the second half of the school year, there has been a very noticeable increase in student engagement across academics, extracurricular activities, and school-sponsored events. Students and advisors have demonstrated pride, leadership, and enthusiasm through the planning and execution of a lot of different major school-wide programs, such as the upcoming Black History celebration that Dr. Klim was talking about, large sporting events, and competition clubs. In addition to this, the majority of extracurricular activities are preparing for the upcoming freshman open house that we have in a few Wednesdays. This annual program highlights the depth and breadth of opportunities that are available at Lawrence High School. Our clubs, athletic programs, and student organizations have all expressed eagerness to connect with incoming students and share their experiences at Lawrence High School. A special thanks to our student council's recent initiatives to increase togetherness, such as the hearts that were being talked about. And due to these things, students having expressed an increase in school spirit, knowledge about upcoming events, and a desire to be more involved. In addition to this, since the first semester has come to a close, us seniors are gearing up for our last few months of school, and we have expressed gratitude for events such as the upcoming casino night that helps with project graduation initiatives and just helping us get ready for the next stage of our lives. At Lawrence Intermediate School, the Student Council and community is hosting its first Hooties Fun Fair on February 26th. This evening event is designed to promote community connection, positive school culture, and student engagement outside of the school day. The fair's variety of interactive games encourages participation and teamwork. In terms of the elementary school, despite challenging winter weather conditions, the last few weeks have been very productive for all of the different elementary schools. Reports show that students have demonstrated perseverance, resilience, and continued academic progress across all grade levels. Instruction has remained aligned to the district goals, and students are very excited for the future things to come. In addition to this, there are new menu items in many of their lunches. Eldridge Park Elementary has continued its commitment to service-based learning through school-wide efforts that support our local food pantry, while also providing an applied learning opportunity for the kindergarten students. Collected canned goods are incorporated into a counting activity on the 100th day of school, which reinforces math along with a real-world application of it. So altogether, it's been pretty exciting to see the energy across our schools, and students have continued to learn, lead, and support each other. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Any board members have any questions?
I did.
Yes.
How do you measure this increased engagement spirit? Yeah.
Okay, so basically, the student council started their class wars thing this month, and along with some student representatives who are grade-based, we basically do like monthly surveys on how students are feeling, and based off the percentages, we try to keep it consistent and get the same amount of students participating in the surveys each month. So that's how I kind of measure it.
Excellent.
Yeah, and it's been increasing over the years.
Fantastic, that's great. Thank you. Thanks for that report. We love having our student representative here, thank you.
Thank you.
Lawrence Township Education Foundation, and you'll also report on EVC? Olga.
Hi. So I have LTEF is gearing up for the spring grant cycle. Grants were due today, and we received an amazing 38 grant applications. Grant day is March 6th, and the LTEF will be here at the March 18th board meeting to let the board know about all the amazing grants that we're able to fund. LTEF is also holding the 3rd annual talent show, and auditions are next week, Thursday the 19th and Saturday the 21st. Audition signups are open. Winners will win $1,000 cash prizes. Please consider signing up if you have any talent or if you want to share.
If you have talent.
We will have an art contest as well with larger cash prizes this year. Details to come. Thank you. And ECV was reported by Dr. Woolley.
Yes, thank you very much. New Jersey School Board Association.
Okay, I had a Zoom meeting with the county leadership on February 7th, 9 a.m., and discussions were had pertaining to how best to communicate with legislative members for the best outcomes for our districts. The big recommendation from the legislators that were in this meeting along with us was to meet in person. Yes, you can email, you can send letters, but it usually goes to the aides, and sometimes it might be counted on a tally sheet, but they're not really going to see it. They also suggested that if we have an issue that is really important to us, that we have other board members join, a superintendent or possibly the mayor, and that will give you more clout and time with a legislator. They also talked about a website that you can follow certain bills so that you can watch them progress, because they do change numbers as they're moved along and modified. So if there's one you particularly want to follow, which I just learned at that meeting, you can do that. They did some research as far as the funding, school funding, whether the new governor will follow the current funding formula or modify. We'll find out towards the end of this month. They also talked about the pilot program, the funding, and it's moving through the Senate. Lots of discussion about this avenue for more revenue. Mercer County, New Jersey School Board's meeting will be held at West Windsor Plainsboro North, and it's the Unsung Hero. It's March 19th. If you've never been to it, this event is so moving because it's students throughout our county that are recognized for being outstanding members of the community. These students are giving, loyal students that usually go unrecognized. Typically, these students are not the outstanding athletes or the top of their class, but they are very supportive for others through kindness, hard work, dedication to their families, their school, community, township. Each school in Mercer County selects a student to be recognized at this event, and it's really an exciting night if you can make the time. You can register through New Jersey School Board's website, and Lawrence will have a representative for our district. And that's my report.
Great. Thank you so much, Joanne. We don't have anything from reconfiguration. Tom covered that. Student services?
Student Services meeting was held on February 4th. In attendance, Vanessa Bakarsiak, Mackenzie Kelly, and myself, Arndell Clark. Items to highlight: we have a resource fair coming up on March 7th. Currently, 24 vendors have RSVP'd, including, but not limited to, mental health, summer camps, dentists, and outside services such as speech and counseling, and many more. Info has been sent out to families on the 3rd. ESY and Connect information has been sent out also on the 3rd for staff to start applying, teachers, child study teams, etc. ESY is scheduled for July 6th through August 6th, Monday through Thursday, at Ben Franklin and LHS. Connect program dates will be determined. The ranging times for these programs are between 8:15 in the morning to 12:30 in the afternoon. Applications are also being accepted for a nurse assistant position currently available at LHS for those interested. The district is currently exploring specialized reading programs for special education students to produce a potential pilot program. More information to follow as information is gathered. This ends my report.
Great, thank you so much. Review of communications? Nothing. First opportunity for public comment? Seeing none. We're up with our board discussion and work session. Come on down, Mrs. Musi.
So Ms. Muzi's just going to get set up. I think she has some materials to pass out. Ms. Musi, oh, okay. She's not ready yet.
Into it.
Okay.
There's a preamble. Okay. Good evening. Thank you all. I am going to speak about professional development. I hope you don't mind if I tell you one quick Max Riley story, because I know, Tom, you know this story. I was a first grade teacher when he had mandated 15 students in a classroom. And because the initiative, which was a bold initiative, it was important to him. So he was constantly coming to visit the classrooms. So it was around end of October, early November, he unannounced and all by himself stepped into my first grade classroom. And he was such an imposing figure. Like, he was so larger than life. And my little guys were all over the place, and he beelined right over to the carpet where 3 little boys were laying on their bellies and flipping through books. And he leaned all the way down, and he's like, "Hey, are you guys reading?" And one little wonderful kid looked up at him and said, "Reading? We don't know how to read. No one in here knows how to read. We don't even know what we're doing." And I got so afraid because he stood up and he had like a blank look, and I was petrified. And in my brain, I'm like, I'm getting fired. But he turned around, he walked straight toward me, and we like kind of locked eyes. And his head went back, and he laughed in such a huge way. And then he put his huge hand on my shoulder and said, "Carry on." So he did come back in June, and he sat with every one of the kids, and he had them read to him. So anyway, that's my Max Riley moment. So, but I really am here to talk about professional learning. It's great to talk about everything happening in the district because so much is going on, and sometimes professional development is not as exciting. It has to happen each year. And I think if you look at the last 5 years, coming back from the pandemic, we rolled out a lot of initiatives here in Lawrence. We brought in a comprehensive elementary math program with Bridges. We needed a lot of training with that. Full days were provided to the Bridges training. We rolled out the Orton-Gillingham IMSC the last few years. Again, took a lot of our PD time. There was secondary curriculum initiatives, technology programs. The high school rolled out the huge AI grant. And we definitely accomplished a lot. But it was very much curriculum-based, which it had to be because we were bringing all these new programs. Last spring, probably a little less than a year ago, we, across the buildings, really started having conversations, and it was an epiphany that we really needed to realign some of our professional learning opportunities to more instructional, not curricular needs. And so we started really brainstorming some ways that that could happen. It had, with all the curricular initiatives, some of it was disjointed and buildings were doing different things. So one of the things we wanted to look at were ways to really build out more coherent professional developing programming across K to 12. And in order to do that, we wanted to move, as I said, from separate initiatives, but really to a multi-threaded system of professional learning that can be embedded and just grown over time. We wanted to create consistency, clarity, collective impact. And we started talking about this as an LTPS ecosystem of learning for all levels of educators in our district, developing that common language, high-impact practices, and research-based solutions that really are proven for student outcomes. It matters a lot because in the last couple of years, we are looking to reduce that initiative overload and confusion that exists, building collective teacher efficacy, eliminating class-to-class or school-to-school variables, ensuring equitable access to high-quality learning, and the consistency for students year over year and meeting students' needs in a culture of mattering. And I believe last year when Alicia DiLorenzo came into our district, spoke a lot about that word mattering, which was beyond just belonging. One of the important things she kept encouraging us to look what we have here. What we have, what we need is actually in Lawrence already. So we were really working on a few different things, and by talking to teachers, talking to principals, talking to some of our novice teachers, there were 3 buckets that kind of developed over time. You all know about our data and assessment initiative. We needed some strong professional development to have that grow. Differentiation to meet all. I think Fred had said the word all, or Chris Woolley had said all is the important thing there, to make sure that we're meeting our kids' needs. And then our responsive and restorative communities. How do we create the culture, the environment for kids to actually do their best work? And as I said, Alicia DiLorenzo said, look inwardly. And as we were planning these initiatives, building out who leads these things, how do we get them off the ground? And, well, we developed the first cohort that we called Leaders in Learning. These are teacher leaders who applied for positions. Last summer, we had a robust professional learning experience for them, a training program where we created the professional development that we ended up rolling out for the 25-26 school year. We onboarded 19 teacher leaders, 3 at each of the elementary buildings, 4 at LMS, and really came together to say, how do we, these teachers, grow the professional learning capacity in our buildings? How do we do it with coherence? And how do we do it in a long-term vision? So over the summer, they came together, and we developed 3 modules, as I said, that would be delivered on 3 PD days in 3-hour blocks. So no matter where you were as a K-6 teacher on the September PD day, October PD day, and November, you received 3 hours of coherent professional learning on one of the 3 buckets. And by November's PD day, every single K-6 educator had experienced the same learning. So it was really important to kind of solidify this format. This flexibility of 3 hours also gave all other initiatives 3 hours in the PM, so that we could still have our writing PD, child study team members can still meet, special education, ASI. So having 3-hour blocks coherently, a lunch break, and 3 hours specialized training gave us a lot of bang for, our buck. And these teacher leaders did amazing work. It was a lot of round up the usual suspects. They're respected in their building. They are talented. They are knowledgeable. We had great expertise in these areas, and it was really well received. We did surveys in September and November. Our next meeting for our PD day is March 20th, and we're actually starting March 20th day with a survey to ask teachers who have had this coherent, blocks of PD, where do we go from here? How do we grow this to make it better moving forward? How do we cultivate more leaders in learning to be able to drive this learning? And so really quickly, one module was data, and it really focused on the district's shift in how we understand and use student data. It was a lot of training on moving to the Lexile and Quantile framework, how to meet our students' needs, and really get the high-impact strategies to move the student learning. Differentiation was the next block, and I think it was really important the way we approach that with teachers. It's not something extra. It's not a thing. It's just how we enhance our instruction and build out to meet our kids' needs if they are achieving above grade level, need support, or just need those solid foundational skills. And then finally, responsive and restorative communities really focused on creating the spaces that are safe and inclusive and responsive so kids can actually do their best learning. We spoke about management of the class in a proactive way, how to use logical consequences, teacher language, which could be very inconsistent, and now it is really primed into one area. And we actually did this session for classroom assistants as well. Every classroom assistant had that same training. We also did a differentiation session for specialists. So instead of like having an articulation day, PE, art, music, librarians all came to learn about differentiation as well. Now, down the block at LMS, they were using a different framework that was connected to the same buckets that we were talking about, the data, differentiation, and responsive communities. Rigor is a research-based instructional framework by researchers. You can see over there, Fisher and Fry. They've done a ton. We actually, Mindy and I were in Seattle last summer for the NAESP conference, and we saw Fisher and Fry, which is where she's like, this is the thing that takes what we're doing at the elementary level and really brings it one step up for LMS. You can see those, RIGOR is an acronym for Relationships, Instruction, Goals, Organization, and Relevance. And Dr. Malofsky, in addition to her 4 leaders in learning, she actually brought her SLAC, which is the school level assessment coordinator, who's her data person, into the team as well. So she had a 5-member teacher leadership team leading the PD in the building, but also presenting at faculty meetings, coaching their peers in classrooms. At the elementary levels, the leaders in learning are offering their classrooms as laboratory classrooms or covering so other teachers can come in and see the work. Really looking, again, instructional coherence across classrooms, really reinforcing high expectations for all students, and strengthening Tier 1 instruction. So I'll hand out my handouts. This packet not only has the 3 modulars that you can look at, but on the back is the LMS module. So I'm going to pass it down.
Thank you.
Immediate steps. This is really in infancy, if that makes a lot of sense. We want to continue the focus and alignment in each of the K-8 buildings. We really keep reflecting on how to do this better. We're going to individuals. We're going to...
I'll take one.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
The analysis of classroom implementation. It's great to have PD and provide it to teachers. How do we make sure it's getting into the classrooms? How is the implementation coherent? Really going to schools, to individual teachers as a district, and going back to that same thing of if we're building this ecosystem, we need to nurture the ecosystem so it can continue to grow. And this is where we kind of head into the future, what we're calling anchoring and architecting. 25-26 is the beginning. K-8, leaders in learning, focus on data, differentiation, and community building. 26, 27, we are going to grow our leaders in learning, continue to focus on data for student achievement, bring in additional teacher-selected sessions. You know, we blocked these 3-hour kind of this launch, 3-hour blocks. Next year, as we kind of target what teachers want and need, PD is not something that's done to teachers. It's done with teachers. And so if we find out what needs are we actually meeting, it may be 2 90-minute sessions every single PD day. We'll see. We want to expand into K-12. Our 9 to 12 friends are interested in creating their teacher leadership group. They were really involved in the AI grant this year, so this is their opportunity coming up. Dr. Malofsky has ways to expand hers, and then incorporate these modules into new staff induction. We have new people coming into our district. This is the baseline. This is the foundation in the 3 big areas that we're expanding. If our novice teachers, you know, brand new to the district, maybe just out of school, we need to make sure they understand these are the big chunks, the big coherent pieces that Lawrence Township is focused on. Beyond that, 27, 28, we're looking at PLC-centered focuses. So now we really get into that deep expertise, expanding those LILs, the leaders in learning. And then beyond, you know, Robin and I have talked, you know, perhaps there's more of like an individualized LP, like a learning plan for teachers, or some sort of credentialing, some certificate programs. Maybe they create a way to show what they have learned as a teacher leader and beyond. So almost there. We will know we have been successful, that we are successful when that common language, expectations, and understanding exists across every school in LTPS, especially in those focus areas. This is our real challenge, that the systems in place are solid. They support all the experiences of our students. The data is analyzed through the LNQ framework, providing a path to guide growth across subjects and grades, and consistency. And I want to point out that that is not cookie cutter. We are not asking teachers to be, you know, doing the same thing or follow a uniform script or anything like that. Consistency is using high impact practices effectively, and it will be across all classrooms, support the vertical articulation, really begin to craft, you know, deep learning experiences for our kids. And I know if you're an educator, you probably have seen this quote from Dylan William, and if we create a culture where every teacher believes they need to improve, not because they're not good enough, because they can be even better. And there is nothing that will stop us from achieving that. So I just want to show you one more thing. When we were with the Leaders in Learning all summer, this was one of the graphics that we kept coming back to. It's great to set enormous goals, and we want to, like, you know, Max was bold, right? But if we can't reach them, we need lots and lots of little rungs and keep moving this along. So this is year 1 of a coherent professional learning system. And I think as we realign the district and start making a lot of decisions, like, you know, Tom was talking about, and, you know, Robin was saying, and Michelle, it is about doing systemic things better and really rooting them so that we keep improving them. So that is professional development 25, 26 in a nutshell. And if you have any questions, I would love to, or if anybody wants to come and talk to me or see me or whatever, you know.
You're gonna add?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you want to add?
I just want to say, you know, just for the public's ear, this is Mrs. Muzi's second year as the Director of Student Achievement, Equity, and Opportunity. We feel fortunate every day that we brought her into central office. As you'll recall, she was our Slackwood principal, and you've done a phenomenal job, and she is absolutely a visionary leader, and she is cementing some really, really amazing things here in the district. So I wanted to say thank you.
And just one other thing, you know, I also feel the same way about the board, and one of the reasons why we're going to have, you know, Mrs. Musi here and other people in the district come and talk to us is because I want to bring the board along on this journey. And while this could have been something done in CIAPD, it is more important that the entire board gets to hear this. And we're going to try to do this when there are things that are so impactful. And for me personally, I've always believed in this idea. So, I mean, I loved it. I'm not going to ask any questions, but I know Diana has one, but thank you so much. That was fantastic.
And Diana, you might remember the model of Leaders Learning was, like 10 years ago, was the achievement coach that the New Jersey Department of Ed did. And it really was like using, we have a lot of experience, we have a lot of knowledge. We don't have to look for it elsewhere and buy it. We have it in-house. We've got to capitalize on it.
Well, so to that end, just one, if we get to all, whenever you invite us to meet with you, I want to meet with you. But, and I think to everything Dr. Clem said, like, this is brilliant, and I really appreciate it. To Michelle's point, like, because I think what I heard was so many things that connected our different committees. So, comments and questions, as always. So, one, I wanted to reflect back something, because I think sometimes when we use, like, as a parent, we talk about coherence. I'm trying to think, like, what does that mean for my kids now? And I want to say it back, and you can check my understanding. So when we say we're focusing on coherence, like, to me, that means that when my kids are changing schools, or when my kids go from grade to grade, they would be less likely to have kind of more disparity in the classroom of achievement, because they had the same lessons. So like sometimes right now in the same grade we have kids doing entirely different units, hypothetically, and that, I guess I'm not, that happened to me growing up. So I think, and then the next year, if the one class went really deep into, I don't know, ancient Rome, and another class went really deep into ancient China, and now that next, social studies teacher has to kind of catch up one group of students and not bore the other group of students. Is that what you're thinking about coherence, like when we move, especially into what will be third grade, or we move into fourth grade?
You're saying two things there. It is definitely like the example of Rome and China. That's a curricular decision, and we should be following pacing guides.
Right.
And those are established by the supervisors really well. But when I say like coherence in like differentiation or data practices or responsive classrooms, like I'm sure everybody who's had kids go through Lawrence, I can give you an example of my child who, when he talked too much, was put in the hallway, okay? That's not a good practice, okay? And that was before I even knew it wasn't a good practice, So coherence is, we don't do that anymore, okay? We do use teacher language that solves a problem by uplifting. We're looking at asset base. So there's a lot of things that we can just do for all of our classroom communities to improve it. And that's also with instruction. We know how to differentiate better. It goes back to, and again, we have researchers here and stuff. If you know something works better, let's do that. Don't keep doing the things that, we talk about walking around, and if I see a word search, I lose my mind. I see a lot less word searches than I used to. So when you know better, you do better.
That's really helpful.
I also appreciate the fact that you're including the specialists, you're including the classroom assistants. I saw that big change when we did responsive classroom, and I could see that grow throughout the school. The students started their morning on the same footing. So this I see as a natural extension.
The assistants were so appreciative of being included. They were at our opening convocation, then they went into sessions, they were with teachers, they were with their peers. Again, if no one ever teaches you how to respond to a child, having some, like big feelings, as we say, how you don't know. And so we did a lot of training on that, and they want to support their teachers. They want to do a great job for the kids. Let's bring them in. Let's make sure they're having that.
No, teacher leaders get stipends, right?
They're stipended.
And that's awesome. But also, in my mind, as a parent and taxpayer, I think it's important, like what you're doing is leveraging the expertise that is down the hall as opposed to bringing someone outside.
We have what we need right here, and how accepting for the other teachers. Here's Amy Reef teaching about reading data, and her peers know she's an expert, and they are so open to that. And you're a lot more likely to show your vulnerabilities, like, Amy, I really don't know how to do that running record. Can you show me? As opposed to going into an administrative-driven session where they're paying experts from the outside. So it was warm, it was supportive, feedback was good. As I said, our big step now is March 20th. The Leaders in Learning will be running a session called POPs, which is just problems of practice. And the Leaders in Learning are a little nervous because they don't want it to turn into like, you know, the venting.
Yep.
But that's important. It's a safe space. They can vent. But we'd like to really get what are the things we can solve together. And also we're going to do this survey that will, if you had the opportunity to create a PD experience for next year, what would it look like?
They have ownership.
Yeah. And if you don't, again, it's not done to them, it's done with us all.
And then, I guess in preparation for the strategic plan and next year's goals, I think one question I have is related to the urgency that we talked about to honor the passing of the former superintendent. I think it would help me as a board member if we found bite-sized student data points to be tracking throughout this. Because I fully understand the importance of focusing on PD goals and input, but thinking about, even though we're going to see things in the long term, what are our kids that are here now? So what are we going to see each year that in the classrooms and our students doing?
We spent 7 days, not 7 days, it felt like 7 days, right? Was that 7 hours? Doing data yesterday. And what we can track, like as we're getting better and learning lexicons and quantiles better, and our teachers are, that's a huge shift. I mean, we were going from those very generalized, norm-based bands of approaching almost there, you know, so close, you know, like, and now we can really look at lexicons and quantiles and say, you know, for a first grader at the midpoint of the year, these are the skills that they need to be stronger in. That's almost prescriptive. And we even said about looking at the data, I think in old data, we're used to like dread, you know, the park data was coming, or, you know, oh my God, the good teachers, bad teachers, you know. Data not being used as a hammer, data used as a flashlight. And if you just get the flashlight into every teacher's understanding, that would be great.
Great. Okay.
Jean, on...
Last question.
Last question for me.
Last question for everybody. You're representing the group.
So on our agendas, we always have the professional development that teachers are choosing or
Yes.
doing. Will that change?
I think that it will not. But I can't say that. I don't envision sending teachers out for responsive classroom training, for example, which we used to do with everybody, then it was less and less. It's not equal to responsive classroom training, but we have really boiled down the most essential pieces that actually impact classrooms, and we're doing that now in-house. But specialized, training,
For health and physical.
yeah, like,
for music,
or
all kinds of things, yeah.
algebra teachers
Right.
going out for this big, they'll still have to do that. There's still literacy initiatives, which is again why when you look at our PD hours, 3 hours for Leader in Learning, our coherent plan, and 3 hours for other things. We're balanced out.
Plus, the professional developments are your peers giving you, it's,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, but again, anybody wants more information, reach out and you're always welcome to.
thank you.
I was kidding. If somebody has a question, feel free to ask it. Thank you so much.
Can I say one thing?
Of course.
That was it, you were done.
I was going to say,
He's got one more thing
which
to
is
share.
like amazing to me, through the magic of AI, Notebook LM took the PowerPoints that our teacher leaders made, and they turned, it was amazing. Those podcasts tell an overview of each of the sessions that the teachers led, but it's like 2 people talking about LTPS PD.
You did that
Isn't
for
amazing?
us, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have I think most are like 15 minutes. If you have 15 minutes and you're in the car, listen to the podcast, okay?
Great. Thank you so much, Jean. Okay. Phew.
That was awesome.
Great. Okay, board discussion and action item, personnel committee report, and personnel action item.
Okay, before I start, if you all probably received this new leaders update, our Gerald Trueheart is in there. He's on page 31, so make sure you look. There are also some 14 things school board members wish you knew about them, some interesting things, all kinds of good. This is probably one of my favorite copies that has come out for school leaders. So don't just toss it on the copy table, pick it up and read it. It's a good one. Okay, now let me get myself back up here again. All right, personnel met virtually February 4th, 8:15 a.m. In attendance, Dr. Robin Klim, Sean Fry, Michelle Bose, Paul Caparata, Aaron Del Clark, and me, Joanne Groger. We discussed openings for Supervisor of Humanities and Health Office assistant. We are interviewing for the Director of Facilities, and good things are happening. It's going very well. We discussed state updates to the NJFLA. We reviewed our staffing meetings at building level, and we continue to collaborate with leadership team to finalize our HR budget. And no changes were recommended for policy 1620. On tonight's agenda, you will find a resignation, approval for leave replacement, substitute teachers, salary adjustments, and I'd like to pause for the next agenda item. Someone is going to retire that's very special to me, and I never knew her middle name was Marie, so I had to put that in there. Anne-Marie Testa. She served in the main office at LES, assisting Jane Tom Show for the past 23 years. I've only known her to be extremely professional, helpful, a can-do person. She'll be retiring at the end of the school year, and I know I speak for everyone at LES. She'll be missed profoundly. And Anne, I have to thank you for your years of dedication and the beautiful smile that she presents to everyone who enters the front office. We wish her well. Moving back to the agenda here, you will see unpaid leaves, EDPs, staff for Eagles and Destinations programs, confirmation for appointments, corrections, amendments, adjustments, and one termination. With all the above, I'd like to recommend moving P1 through P22, please.
Second.
Tom, with a motion and a second, please.
Mr. Caparata?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Kroger?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi?
Yes.
Mr. Van Hise?
Yes.
Ms. Bose?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. CIAPD and OSS.
So the CIPD meeting met on February 3rd, and Michelle Pepper, myself, Mackenzie, Dr. Fisher, Allison, I always mess up Vanessa's name, and Neil met for the curriculum committee. Sorry, Vanessa. And we talked, Dr. Fisher presented on the mental health and student support, presenting information about our risk assessment data and highlighting some work with the Hope Squad in the high school. We also reviewed 2 policies, including the school visitor policy and class size policy, and we are referring the school visitor policy to the finance committee for further review as it relates to our school security processes and making sure they all align, that our general visitor policy is aligned with our other facilities and policies. So looking forward to continuing that conversation. We now always will receive updates on superintendent's goals and monitoring, and that's in a conversations we've had with the board over the last year, and just making sure we're all kind of up to date and getting ongoing updates, which Superintendent Klim has met or is on track to meet all of those goals, and actually the presentation from Mrs. Musi directly relates to a lot of the goals, so that was really helpful to kind of put those two together. And finally, our main final update and discussion was about our preschool access and enrollment. This might be a little outdated, so just in general, preschool enrollment is ongoing, and we were briefed on the outreach efforts designed to promote equitable access and community awareness. So we know that there's been outreach to different organizations in the community, and just want to make sure those numbers keep going up for our preschool enrollment, since that's why we're doing this. And then for our next meeting is March 10th, and we're going to look forward to hearing about some of that data and getting some mid-year benchmark information. So with that, I'll make a motion to move OIS 1 through 3. You'll see a travel log and a grant, and motion for two field trips.
Second?
Okay, with a motion and a second, we'll do that second. Tom?
And then do I have to do OIS? Do I do them all together, or do I have to do OSS?
Can do.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll add OSS 1.
I'll second the amended motion.
Tom?
Got it. I'm sorry. Mr. Caparata.
Yes.
Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Ms. Evans.
Yes.
Ms. Groger.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Ms. Martinez.
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi.
Yes.
Mr. Van Hise.
Yes.
And Ms. Bose.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Finance Committee report and school business management action items.
Finance Committee met on January 30th. Joining me were Paul Caparata, Diana Pasculi, Kevin Van Hise, Neil Desai, Jen Baldessari, Jill Pozluzny, and Tom Eldridge. We talked about changing the format of how we present our minutes, so Tom and I aren't fighting for equal time or being redundant. LMS auditorium project is on time and on budget. Anticipated change orders are small in dollar value. The main project, consisting of additions and renovations, will be bid in phases. First, the main building renovations and addition. Next, the athletic fields, followed by the parking lot behind LHS. Environmental consultant proposals have been received for design and monitoring work associated with the project. This will be awarded in February. The class of 1976 Vietnam War Memorial will need to be moved. Tom and Jill have met with the American Legion and the Eagle Scout who renovated the memorial for the purpose of relocating the monument. Jill and Tom are arranging to meet with the families of the soldiers honored by the memorial. New custodial management services contract is out to bid. This contract will replace the existing contract for Slackwood, Eldridge, Lawrenceville Elementary, Ben Franklin, and Lawrence Middle School. The district will take an alternate bid for LIS, but LIS will only be awarded as staff retire. And it's worth repeating that we're not terminating anyone or ending anyone's employment. We're only waiting for them to leave. Retire. So the 26-27 draft budget is being constructed. Our estimates with the information we currently have is that we are slightly over cap. Our actual position relative to budget cap will not be known until state aid numbers are released in late February. Tom noted that the administration is beginning to increase the technology and maintenance budgets that have been held flat over the last several years. Increasing these budgets has been a challenge during times of limited resources. Resource deployment is prioritized to serve instructional programs first. Audit is complete and there were no findings. Tom discussed the 2 classroom expansion of PEA, adjustments to the PEA program, and how the district manages the contract with PEA at Lawrence Day School. The committee reviewed changes in the business office staffing for the coming year, as well as changes in business processes. All changes were the purpose of finding efficiencies and streamlining workflows. Robin and Tom met with bond counsel concerning the remaining proceeds for the 2018 bond referendum. These proceeds will be used to further the intent of the bond sale, purpose, security, and HVAC. There are no objections to proceeding with these projects. And that's all I have. I would like to move SBM 1 through 12.
Second?
Tom, with a motion and a second.
Mr. Caparata.
Yes.
Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Ms. Evans.
Yes.
Ms. Groger.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi?
Yes.
Mr. Van Heist?
Yes.
Ms. Bose?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Our last opportunity for public input. Seeing none. New business.
We have a few new business items on the agenda. Switching a fund for self-insured dental cost, destinations approval. We have an approval for the disposition of surplus property and some of the property that's beyond its useful life. Field trips, resignations. We have some substitutes and staffing additions, and also approving a nursing services contract. With that, I will move NB 1 through NB 8.
Second?
Tom with a motion and a second.
Mr. Caparata?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Groger?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi?
Yes.
Mr. Van Heist?
Yes.
Ms. Bose?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Woo-hoo.